morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us today. About 9 minutes past 10 a.m. here in Nairobi. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. My name is Miriam Ogutu. The show is Kenya and Africa at a Glance, where we get to bring you the latest news from Kenya as well as from Africa. Thank you so much. And then after I've gone through the headlines, I'll bring in my panelists and we shall start our conversations for today. We start with looking at the Daily Nation, and the main headline of the Daily Nation this morning: Uhuru Raila failed city rally exposes rifts. President Kenyatta and the ODM leader were to host a mega rally at historic city grounds yesterday, a day after a weekend of political blizzard. It didn't happen, raising questions about the last-minute changes as both camps try to explain away the missed date. Wiper Chief Kalonzo Musyoka last evening sent out a message cancelling earlier plans for coalition signing with his One Kenya Alliance partners. What's cooking? The story is on page 4 and 5 on the Daily Nation. CSS who quit for politics get huge send-off packs. That is on page 12. And then technology: you could be flying a car around Nairobi by 2025. Forget the double-decker expressway that promises to eliminate traffic in Nairobi. Kenya Airways believes it could fly into a prosperous future with its electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. It's very ambitious there, Kenya Airways. Page 2 and 3. On the Daily Nation, and Mudavadi, clever leader or fragrant opportunist. That is a story on page 6. On the Daily Nation, we turn our attention to the Standard newspaper. The main headline on the Standard newspaper: parties in fight for seats as Azimio grows. All outfits backing Raila's presidency have their own coalitions. Azimio has become a formidable campaign machine, but this has opened new rivalries over post. That is on page 6, 7, and 8. On the Standard, how elections hurt economy every 5 years. When investors take a wait-and-see stand, Kenya's growth slows down, creating fewer jobs and raising a cost of living. The end loser is the ordinary Kenyan. The trend continues. The story is on page 4 and 5. Moment of truth as KCPE and KCSE beckon. That is on page 13 and 14. And 8 killed in Kerio Valley clash. You'll find that on the counties section on page 21. And Russia-Ukraine agree to talks as sanctions bite. That is on the world page and on page 35. And let me look at the Star newspaper. The main headline on the Star newspaper: Uhuru, Grandmaster of 2022 succession. Kenyatta has put together a powerful political machine of more than a dozen parties. That is on page 4 and 5. And then Kalonzo's new turf terms for deal with Raila's Azimio. You'll find that on page 6. I thought I would never see my family again, says convicted tout. That is on page 2. And Parliament to pay tickets for MPs on Ruto's 10-day tour of UK, US, and Qatar. Okay. That is on page 8. And maybe that is where we shall start our conversation from this morning. And maybe before I do that, let me just read us through some of the headlines from across the continent so that when we start our conversations, we just go ahead. And the New Vision from Uganda, the main headline there is 45,000 teachers denied licenses over anomalies. That is the main headline. And the Daily Monitor still from Uganda: city police torture students to death. And then the Citizen from Tanzania, the main headline: Tanzania bags a 7.3 trillion Tanzanian shillings deal at Expo Dubai. That is on page 2 of that. And the Daily News still from Tanzania: TZ is ready to take off. And right, what 36 new deals mean for Tanzania. You find that also there. The Punch from Nigeria: a fuel scarcity may persist, all vessels face delay on sea. Very well. And then still the Guardian from Nigeria: fuel scarcity worsens as NNPC fails on demand and promises. A new day from Zimbabwe: violence rocks CCC Kwekwe rally. And then still Daily News from Zimbabwe: history made as 3K TV goes on air. All right, so that is what we have from Kenya, and also from some of the regional newspapers we have in a few countries across Africa. I'm joined this morning by Daniel Wesonga, our correspondent from Nairobi. Daniel, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, a very, very good morning to you, Miriam Mogutu, in our headquarters in Nairobi. Good morning to our viewers here in Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa, Dubri, Utra, and those ones who are in Ukraine, Russia. We hope they're going to be having some truce very soon. And good evening, good afternoon to our viewers across the globe who are watching us this particular morning. It is my pleasure to be on the conversation, Miriam. Thank you.
All right, nice to have you. So we'll just start from the last headline there. I read from the Star newspaper on page 8, and the National Assembly has provided air tickets for 6 MPs who will accompany Deputy President William Ruto on his 10-day official tour of the United Kingdom, United States of America, and Qatar. The DP is also accompanied by ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, a member of Ruto's Kenya Kwanza's Alliance, MPs Eden Duale from Garissa Town, Alice Wahome of Kandara, Owen Baya of Kilifi, Beatrice Angala of Vihiga Women Representative, Kimani Ichung'wah of Kikuyu, and Soipan Tuya of Narok notified Speaker Justin Muturi of the trip. Parliament facilitated the MPs with air tickets for the travel. National Assembly Clerk Michael Sialai said following a request by the Office of the Deputy President. And I don't know how you feel about that. And first of all, is it clear that the duties, whatever the Deputy President is going to do outside of the country, has anything to do with the national interest? Or is he going there on behalf of the President?
Miriam, the kind of impunity in this country stinks to the high heavens. There is no way William Ruto can be able to convince Kenyans that he's going to the US or the UK on official capacity. If he's going in such a capacity, then what is he going to do for this particular country? What are the implications? What are the benefits that the common mwananchi of this particular country is going to get from his trip abroad? And by the composition of the people who are accompanying the Deputy President to go to the UK and the US, it actually paints a picture of his 2022 presidential campaign team. And of course, that actually tells you the intentions and the reasons for that particular trip. He's going there for political mobilization. He's going to mobilize his supporters in readiness to elect him, to vote for him in the August polls. He's also going there to fundraise money from the international donors like George Soros and the Open Society Foundation. He's going there also to hold fundraisers from his supporters who are in abroad. And therefore, sometimes, Miriam, I really wonder the kind of leadership we have in this country. If the National Assembly, through its speaker, can actually grant these particular individuals tickets to go to the US, then why not other MPs from other political parties who want to go run their errands using that particular office? Because these, as much as I'm concerned, Miriam, these are personal trip of the Deputy President, and therefore people who are accompanying him, those bills should be footed by the office of the Deputy President, private office of the Deputy President, not the government coffers, Miriam. So to me, I think that is misuse of public monies, because even by going to the US, the Deputy President is not traveling in his official capacity. He is using a restrictive visa, like Dr. Matsanga told us yesterday. Look at the people who accompany him. David Ndii, I'm sure it is the state which is paying the plane ticket for David Ndii. Is David Ndii a public servant? In fact, this is a man who has been insulting the president, a man who has been derailing the agenda of the government of the day. Musalia Mudavadi today with Beatrice Adagala from ANC are traveling with the monies which have been paid by the government of Kenya. These are the same people who have been biting the hand of the government, talking all kind of nonsense about the economy and how the president has failed. Why do they get all these favors when they're not working for the people of Kenya? And Miriam, an estimated cost of almost 300 and something million is going to go down in this particular extravagant trip from William Samoei Ruto. And it's only comparable to the infamous Hustler jet, where almost 100 million was paid for his adventurous and extravagant trips overseas. So this is again repeating itself. And this time round, it is repeating itself when William Ruto does not have any essence for the government, neither does he have any essence for the people of Kenya. Since he absconded his duty, he no longer reports at Harambee Annex office. Whatever he does is to host delegations in Karen to support and drum up support his 2022 presidential bid. So Miriam, I don't know why we keep on extending monies and stipends to this ghost worker who does not work for the government of Kenya. And more still, we have people outsiders like David Ndii, like these MPs who have been in opposition, actually also benefiting from public coffers. I believe if Kenyans are serious about their country, if Kenyans can hold their leaders accountable to the money that they give, they get out there for the expenditure, then once these people fly back into the country, an audit should be done and we establish how much money was spent on this particular trip, and let them refund the public of its money, because it is misuse of public resources to have people going out on a landish, extravagant trip in the UK and the US on their own personal interest and errands, only for the people of the Republic of Kenya to cater for that through their taxes. So Miriam, I believe this is the height of impunity, corruption, and misuse of public coffers. I submit.
Very well, thank you. But according to this story, only the 6 members of parliament will have their air tickets catered for, but the rest of the allowances shall be paid by DP's team. And just a Reuters office in February 24th, letter by Abdul Mwasera, Principal Administrative Secretary, Harambee Annex, requested Parliament to facilitate the 6 members of Parliament. The members of Parliament listed here will accompany the Deputy President during his visit to the US, UK and Qatar. The purpose of this letter is to request for facilitation of the MPs accordingly. That is what part of the letter read. And in Washington, D.C., Ruto is scheduled to meet officials of the Pentagon as well as the US National Security Council advisory. He will also speak at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace and Center for Strategic and International Studies, and also at the University of Arizona's Washington Entrepreneurship Hub, Namwamba said. And of course, it's very interesting. You shall be meeting officials of the Pentagon as well as the U.S. National Security Council advisory. And we know that the Deputy President is a member of the Security Council in this country, and he never attends this meeting. So him going there and meeting the members of the Security Council at the Pentagon, I don't know what rationale is there. And I see we've been joined by Doctor. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much for hosting us right in the new studios. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing very well, Doc.
This is a low key. It's a low key. This is a low key visit. You know, Africans, we have a problem.
Doc,
I have been to JFK Airport. The VIP departure entry point, Miriam, is very different from where Ruto passed yesterday or this morning. So you can see from the pictures. I don't know whether they can. Kenyans, when we speak, they say we lie. We are against the deputy president, blah, 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 blah. You have read the list of the people he's going to address.
And Doc, before just to join the conversation, maybe start from there, because I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. As 6 members of Parliament that are accompanying him, their tickets are being catered for by Parliament. The taxpayers' money has paid for the tickets of these members of Parliament. On top of that, when the DP shall be in Washington, he will be meeting with officials of the Pentagon as well as the U.S. National Security Council advisory. Now, the National Security Advisory, and we know that the DP is part of the National Security Council here, meetings of which he never attends. So him going to meet the National Security Council of the U.S., where is the rationale?
It's a very bad rationale. You can't even explain it to the public of Kenya. And above all, can you add one adjective? A half DP. Half. He's not a full DP. This is not the man that we handed over power at Kasarani. The man has no party. He's not a member of any party. That is already recognized in Kenya. And he was elected on a different ticket. Now you are telling me he's going to meet those people and come and report to who? They don't work with the president. He has not been sent by the national security of Kenya. Why do you meet security officials of US? What will you tell them? I don't think DP has carried a security brief that Kenyatta gave him that go and tell Americans this. No,
he no longer attends the Security Council briefings here in Kenya. So why would you meet them? Why would the US allow for that to happen?
The US has not allowed. This is a propaganda by boss. Miriam, look at the people who met the president, the deputy president are homeless people in the US with beards as long as Taliban. Did you see? Have you seen the pictures? Why don't you? Please, when we talk, this production team of mine in the headquarters, mutakuwa na shida na mimi. Put those pictures for people to see. These are the people that the DP said he was met. Let him just tell Kenyans that he went to US to meet his people, supporters. Yes, I saw Lazarus Amayo, my friend, good friend for a long time. He had to come because he had to meet half DP, half deputy president. And I'm waiting for this man called the Speaker of National Assembly, who always says he knows more law, that he knows democracy, that which type of democracy it is. I want the Speaker of National Assembly to interpret it for me. The MPs that were selected from one party. I've never seen a party where MPs are selected from one party to go and represent a country. Usually committees go out to represent a country. Unless this is Ruto is trying to create a coup in Kenya, that he has taken only his lieutenants from the parliament to go and meet the United States of America, then come and report to who? There's no leader of foreign and the committee. Murkomen does not stand for any committee. Kihika does not stand for any committee. Ichungwa does not stand for any committee. Adan Duale does not stand for any committee. So you tell me Mr. Salas, the clerk of National Assembly, is also Ruto. He has worked out for this MP to cover them. But in actual sense, instead of them saying we went on private business, I don't see any business that they went to do for the national security when they don't even sit in the National Security Council of Kenya. Tunaelewana hapo? I don't see the rationale. It's not there, Miriam. How are you going to brief US when you have not been sitting in the National Security Council of Kenya yourself? You will tell them, I heard there was a bomb in Mogadishu. Oh, I heard there was this. What is he going to tell them? And two, lies come out very nicely. These people said they are going to US. And they named the countries where they were passing. They ended up passing Istanbul, where they spent 6 hours meeting Mr. Harun Ayadin, who was at the airport, because there are people within the group who are actually also reporting to us. Some of them are our friends also for a long time. They met. Now they are going again. Miriam, I have proved my case. This is a restrictive visa. A diplomatic visa, umesikia mama? Diplomatic visa, unapitia kwa mlango ngine kwa JFK. Imejua, imepitia huko mara mingi, kutoka 83 na 4 na 82 tulikuwa kwa madaraka. na mzee marehemu Obote. Si tumeshatembea huko. There is no way you have a diplomatic visa and you are brought like a cabbage, bananas that are exported to US. Like that. Have you seen the... why are you not bringing... Have they brought those pictures, Miriam?
They have.
Yeah, look at the pictures. And that is a normal exit. Kila mtu anakuona. If you have gone on diplomatic visa, the Queen, the Deputy President, the President, the Foreign Ministers, there is a diplomatic channel at John F. Kennedy Airport. I have been there several times. Wakenya waambiwe ya ukweli. Mimi, from Saturday, since Uhuru Kenyatta released us, we are now free. Tuambiane ukweli. Miriam, your doubts, rationale, the word you used, rationale. Add there another one. What rationale is there for a man who has been stripped of power to represent a country where he doesn't even know what is happening to the same country? I submit.
All right. Very well. Thank you so much. Daniel Vesonga, your thoughts on that? Okay. Well, perhaps Daniel has left. And just a bit of perhaps a catch-up with the legacy. Thiba Dam in Kirinyaga will start filling in May and will be complete in November this year. With the completion, some 10,000 more acres will be put under irrigation in Mwea. Currently, the scheme has 25,000 acres under rice cultivation, but upon expansion will now add up to 35,000 acres. National Irrigation Board project engineer Stephen Mutinda told a Japanese delegation from the Embassy and Japan International Cooperation Agency that the project is 94% complete and only hydromechanical aspects are remaining. It will take a rain season to fill and the gross storage capacity of the reservoir, which will be 15.6 million cubic meters, and 19 billion Kenya shillings dam will feed Canal 3 of the Mwea irrigation, which is also being constructed through a loan by the Japanese government. So we are in line with President Uhuru Kenyatta realizing his vision for a food secure Kenya. These are some of the ways that you can make sure we diversify and look at these other things. And irrigation, like we were talking about here the other time, adoption of science and technology to have better produce, that will go a long way in alleviating and filling the gap that we have as far as food security in this country is concerned. So Thiba Dam is on track.
Yes, Wesonga is here now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I think he had also gone to JFK Airport.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miriam. And that tells you that President Uhuru Kenyatta actually means business when he talks about his legacy of making sure that Kenya is food secure. Kenya has universal health coverage. Kenya is good in terms of even doing trade and industry with its neighbors through infrastructural development and all that. But when you talk about Thiba Dam projects almost coming to fruition, it rings a bell in the minds of many, many Kenyans, and especially the Kenyans who are in Kerio Valley or in the Rift Valley, because here is where we had maybe we were supposed to have a similar project or even a much bigger project, because you realize that Kimarer and Aror Dam projects were much bigger than even Thiba or the Itare or the other dams that are being built across the country. And this could have made sure that the people of the Kerio Valley have enough water to do irrigation, to be able to give water to their animals, to be able even to prevent calamities such as mudslides and the flooding that has been hitting the people for over the years. And that has not happened simply because your favorite deputy president or the favorite opposition leader currently is not maybe committed to the legacy of his friend, President Uhuru Kenyatta. And the money that he was given, together with his cohort, former CS Rotich, and other people who are in the Kerio Valley Development Authority. Actually, they stole the money. Pickups were actually taken away. The vehicles which were supposed to carry out the projects, to be used in carrying out the projects. We had towels being procured and being sent to hotels in Mombasa and in Nairobi. So these are people who ate money that was meant to alleviate the people of Kerio Valley from poverty. Remember, in the entire Rift Valley, Miriam, Kerio Valley is the area where we have a lot of poverty, in that today we still have people who are actually doing cattle rustling. We still have people dying of hunger in Elgeyo Marakwet. We still have a lot of insecurity. So these are men who deprived his people development that was meant to come to their place. And today, as the people of Mount Kenya celebrate about Thiba Dam in Kirinyaga, it should send a tough warning to the people of the Rift Valley that not unless they commit themselves to electing leaders who can be able to turn around their lives through upholding integrity and working hand in hand with the head of state, then they will continue having monies being allocated to various projects in their areas, and this money ends up in the pockets of the few individuals. You can see the kind of arrogance that Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen speaks with. And these are the same people who took some vehicles which were meant for that particular project. These were the same people who took monies which were meant for the same projects. William Ruto is on the record saying that it was not 21 billion shillings, but only 7 billion in question. And actually, for these 7 billion, we have a collateral. Dr. Masanga has always asked, where is that collateral? Where is that even 7 billion that you're talking about? Why haven't we seen the contractor breaking ground for Aror and Kimaret Dam projects? Because the projects, when you look at it on the map, they're actually a bush, Miriam. There's nothing happening there. It is a thicket, and no one seems to bother about it. William Ruto is actually busy campaigning about his 2022 presidential bid, whereas the people of Elgeyo Marakwet and the entire Kerio Valley are deprived of water. They are deprived of something that will give them sufficient structure for them to be able to remain food secure and be able to even indulge in other economic activities related with the project that will give them income. So, Miriam, to me, I believe the president is really committed in finishing his projects. He's committed in delivering to the people of Kenya. And that is why we have the Thiba Dam projects coming to Freeton. But on the contrast, we have also to look at the people who are working with the president previously. Where is the Kamarin Stadium? Whereas we are having stadiums coming up in Mount Kenya, Western and other parts of the country. Where are the stadiums which were supposed to be constructed in the Rift Valley? These are monies which are being given to churches. These are monies which are being used to buy helicopters and high-of-the-end cars to be given to cronies of the deputy president. Miriam, it is a sorry state that in as much as we are having dams being completed in other parts of the country, in Kerio Valley and the Rift Valley, we do not have a single project which is being done, not because the president is being biased, but because money was given, but it was eaten. So therefore, let them elect their leaders.
Miriam, can I come in here with some guide?
Yes,
guide the legacy.
Go ahead.
On the legacy of His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, he has done very well. The only areas and the only people complaining are the people whose areas and MPs suffocated the money and turned the project. What, in summary, what Wesonga is saying is that just hit the point on the head. They suffocated the projects, they ate the money, they took kickbacks, and this group is the same group that masquerades, that is masquerading that they are accompanying the deputy president to United States of America to talk about dams, to talk about which dams will they build dams in the next where? These are the same people who ate the dams. These are the same people who drank the money, who drank the beers, who took all bought cars for their wives. We saw the DCI loaded with blankets. Wesonga hit the point that way. The legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta is safe, sealed, done. Hakuna mchezo ya kurudi nyuma. He has done it. In Mombasa here, right down here, if you look the aerial view of Mombasa when you are on a plane, my Jesus, when those roads finish, you will love not to stay in Nairobi.
It's very lovely. And speaking of which, the SGR cargo operations has exceeded our expectations 5 years on. Remember, it was really fought. And the standard gauge railway operations has maintained a steady rise in cargo volumes 5 years since its inception. Operational data now shows since the launch of the Madaraka Express freight service in January 2018, cargo volumes have continued to register a growth trajectory, enabling improved cargo haulage and efficient performance at the port. The SGR operator moved 2,930,698 gross ton in 2018, a total of 4,159,605 tons in 2019, and 4,418,444 tons. And right last year, it moved about 5 million. So it has continued to grow. So the Kenya Railways Corporation Managing Director Philip Maiga attributed the growth in cargo volumes a concerted joint effort in liaison from other key government agencies that include Kenya Ports Authority, Kenya Revenue Authority, enabling smooth loading, delivery and clearance of cargo. So if there is teamwork among these agencies, like we've been calling for, even when it comes to these agencies tasked with fighting corruption, a teamwork can really make the dream work, Doc, if we have everybody and the hands on deck.
I remember very well what what people said when Uhuru Kenyatta opened up this railway. They said it is a railway to nowhere. Now it has become a railway to somewhere. You remember those, that where is it going? Naivasha. The same route, when they said they had given Uganda something, land to build dry cargo, sheds. People in Kenya made noise. But if you go to Naivasha now, the fast growing town, inland port town, growing in terms of revenues, in terms of hotels, in terms of service industries, Naivasha is picking up Nakuru, that road. Most of the traders that you used to see Miriam this side, every time when you live on this road, you see trader leaving at 4 a.m. Oh, they are not coming. They are picking the cargo in Naivasha. These are some of the things, the developments that President Uhuru Kenyatta has brought to this country. We must give him a credit. You want me to support a man who has nothing to offer me? President is not, he has offered me a route to Uganda, very clear route. In fact, now I just can enter my Range Rover and start zooming up to Malaba. Actually, especially the road from Eldoret to Malaba, where Songa, you have seen how smooth it is. It is only your pedal that you should check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, yes, it's the pedal and the fuel. Don't add too much fuel, otherwise you might not come back. We might meet you 6 feet down. So, Miriam, this is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
This is a president you should support. This is a president who has done something. You saw on Saturday, Uhuru Kenyatta on the Sunday was very relieved. Even the dance came out. You know, when you are happy, like me who is happy now that Liverpool won yesterday, I can dance up to the floor. Yes, and the way Songa cannot dance today, you know, because his party is involved in hammering Russia, Ukraine. So they had a problem last night. I watched up to the last penalty last night. So I'm happy. Uhuru was very happy. Uhuru delivered. Uhuru has delivered. Uhuru continues to deliver. Uhuru will deliver. After that, Pan-Africanism will grow. We have been hindered on Pan-Africanism. But let me tell you, my dear sister, We have been hindered on Pan-Africanism. Why? Because of Ruto. But when we hand over the mantle, when the President Uhuru hands over the mantle to Mr. Raila Amolo Odinga on 10th, we shall go to Addis Ababa. We shall reclaim AU. AU will come back in our hands. You will see me moving around here. I'm ready to do pro bono for these last years that I'm left on planet Earth to make sure that I bring back my organization, the African Unity, the AU, back to Africans. We are done. So anybody thinking of Uhuru with bad intentions is a derailment, mental case like a Ruto.
Wasonga, the operations have maintained a steady growth pattern for the last 5 years since it was first launched in 2018. The standard gauge railway Madaraka Express freight services, and we know when this started, it was met with a lot of opposition. And this railway, it's such a huge investment, so we have to make every good use of it outside of just carrying passengers in and out of, Mombasa. So what is this an answer to the people who perhaps, are opposed to these operations, and maybe look at how this has grown and improved? What do you have to say about this?
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, for a few people here in Kenya who make the loudest noise, it comes out that they do not have any sense of economics, in them. And that is why sometimes I tend to believe that as a country, our politics are actually stronger than our economics, because our people do politics with anything and everything. You realize that anything that the president brings out or the government rolls out, it's actually subject to debate in the political circles more than in the economic circles, where people are able to bring out positive criticism of these projects and be able to offer solutions or alternatives that will make them better. When you hear about Devin D actually discrediting government projects, he doesn't give an alternative of what the government will have done. If you hear William Ruto talking about maybe people not eating roads, he doesn't give an alternative of what we could use apart from building roads. Which other ventures or maybe sectors can we be able to invest our money so that we can be able to get returns as a country and be able to grow our GDP? When you hear Musalia Mudavadi talk about high cost of living, he doesn't offer solutions on how we can be able to our living, or maybe our livelihoods affordable. So to me, Miriam, that serves as an answer to people who have been always skeptics on whatever the president has been doing. Because when you look even at economics itself, we have projects which are done and the returns are in the short-term period. And we also have mega projects whose returns come in the long run. So if you're not someone who is not aware that in economics or maybe in doing infrastructure, you can either get results in the short-term period or in the long-run period, then you'll be a bit impatient trying to shove up whoever is doing those projects and maybe expecting instant results. It doesn't work that in economics, and especially where the government through fiscal policies is rolling out mega projects like President Uhuru Kenyatta has done. Talk of ports, talk about expanding of airports, talk about major highways, talk about maybe building of dams, talk about even the reconstruction and the building of the Nairobi Expressway. These are mega projects, Miriam, and for the only way mega projects give results is after some maybe 5 years, 3 years, in the long-term period, so to say. So this was SGR in 2013, 2014, 2015. People were a bit skeptical, but right now you can see, just the other day during December holidays, people were all over social media truly launching attacks on the revamped Nanyuki Nairobi Railway and revamped Kisumu Nairobi Railway. But we saw whatever happened during that time. The trains were booked, fully booked until almost the end of January. That tells you that we actually, in as much as we have few individuals on social media discrediting these particular projects, actually they are serving their purposes on the ground. And we have people who are actually interested in using the SGR every weekend, going to Mombasa for holiday, day in, day out. We truly have people who are interested in using the train going to Nanyuki from Nairobi. We truly have people who are interested in using the Nairobi Kisumu train for their own personal reasons. And therefore, Miriam, for these, perhaps even some of the projects that President Uhuru Kenyatta is rolling out today, we're going to see their implications or maybe their results in the next maybe 5 years, 3 years. So to me, I think we must do away with these reverberations. We must do away with all this noise that comes on social media whenever we do a project and people are talking negative stuff about it. Because you realize, Miriam, that before a project is rolled out, experts actually do a feasibility study. They go on the ground, they look at the impact it's going to have on that particular locality and the nation at large. And what returns are we going to have at the end of it? You know, this is not a banana state like Mali used to be under Yahya Jammeh, where a president just wakes up in a day and they want to build an airport in the midst of a village. So they have to understand that President Uhuru Kenyatta is one man who believes in the output and the work of experts. And that is why when you look at even the Presidential Delivery Unit, they are very, very much organized. When they outline the projects that have been accomplished by the president, you actually see that this is a team that has been committed in ensuring that they showcase whatever good things that the president has done. Yes. And much of the work also has been shown here on the legacy trend, Miriam, by Dr. Matsanga. And that is good work. You cannot have anything to showcase if you haven't done nothing. And that is why I believe President Uhuru Kenyatta has invested in good projects. And sooner or later, with time, you're going to see the results coming in. They might be short-term, others might be long-term. So let people be patient. Let always people support good ideas. So long as this money is not being used in corruption and being dished out in churches and political rallies, I believe it is always for the benefit and the good of the common man. I submit, Miriam.
Very well. Thank you. Yahya Jammeh and Mali, they don't exist in the same sentence. Jammeh is from Gambia. And Mali was Keita, who was
Yahya Jammeh is Gambia Wesonga.
All right. Okay, it's just a mistake.
A slip of the tongue, Doc.
Yes,
slip of the tongue. We have too many generals in West Africa, so you can't know which one.
Yes, Mali is
I was actually being told the other day that the reason there's a reason why they put the name the Gambia before Gambia for their own sake, because before that, mails which are meant for Gambia used to be sent to Zambia. So there was a bit of confusion.
Gambia.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniel. So there's a headline on the Daily Nation, and the main headline there reads, Uhuru Raila failed city rally exposes rifts. President Kenyatta and the ODM leader were to host a mega rally at the historic city grounds yesterday, a day after a weekend of political bleeds. It didn't happen, raising questions about the last-minute changes as both camps are trying to explain away the missed date. Wiper Chief Kalonzo Musyoka last evening sent out a message cancelling earlier plans for coalition signing with One Kenya Alliance partners. What's cooking? So I think the Daily Nation is posing this question. I think I'll pose it back to Doc. What's going on?
Medium, I have been very, I don't know whether I've been very lucky. I'm one of the few people. This morning I was on another show and I said, and I've written it out. One of the things I do is I say it, I write, so you check. If you find that I was right, send me a card without flowers. So, Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka is just a man waiting what Mudavadi will bring out of the trip. You see, the trip in the United States has already been exposed. The men who were meeting the deputy president yesterday are taxi drivers who do taxi driving in the US and are homeless.
And Doc, somebody just posted, I was just reading now online, someone is saying Mudavadi announced he's going for a trip and Ruto announced he's going for a trip. So, nani anazindikisha mwenzake? It's like they're all...
That he announced what?
Mudavadi announced that he's going for a trip. The DPS announced he's going for a trip. So someone was asking, I think they're joking, who is taking the other person? Nani anazindikisha mwenzake? Ama who is the main person who's going for that trip?
No, the trip is exactly Ruto. First of all, we have discounted the Ruto issue because Ruto has never met Uhuru Kenyatta to ask the security situation. If you are going to meet national security advisors of the United States,
even in London. Even in London, he's going to, the meeting that he's having will have to do with security. So I don't know what the security.
And how will he discuss? No, London, we have already sent papers. London for UK, don't worry, Miriam, because I am having a rally that will summarize. I'm having a meeting in a hall. I've booked the hall. I've paid my hall, and the people will come to listen. I will be selling my, what do you call it in Swahili? Sera zangu za chama cha Azimio na handshake. So that let Ruto speak. I've already told the directors of Chatham House that this man has never met President Uhuru Kenyatta for 9 months. He hasn't seen him. I've exaggerated the number of months there so that they can check to corroborate with the British High Commission in Nairobi.
And in London, he'll be meeting senior government officials, and he will visit the National Counter.
Miriam, this was written by Ababa Namwamba.
So it's not true. So we wait and see if those meetings.
Yes, Ababa Namwamba must have come up, must have met a House of Lords. Matanga in London, I work with the Lords. Can I tell you, Baroness Linda, Baroness Catherine, Baroness Amos, Baroness Scotland, these are my people. Sir James Brathwaite, Sir Bishop Sentamu, you remember the Ugandan? These are people I pick a call and say, hello Sentamu, uko wapi? Olirunda wa, jangu tunye kuchai. So there is nothing that Namwamba is telling us that he's meeting high people there. The only highest person that Ruto is going to meet in London is Bishop of Canterbury at Lambeth Palace. And we have also written, my vicar is writing a letter. He's serious, he has 3 PhDs. He's writing a letter to query whether any contribution in terms of spiritual will benefit the people of Kenya if you meet a man with dirty hands.
So you're saying Kalonzo's decision is pegged on that trip?
Yes.
How so?
Intelligence networks are saying, when you see Senator Wambua, who is George Soros' man, in the newspapers, he's well known for being serviced by Open Society Foundation. Senator Wambua used to write articles against Uhuru Kenyatta to be jailed. When he was in the Nation, I swear in the name of God. And he doesn't know how he's going to meet Uhuru Kenyatta in Azimio. Nyenye wa jamaa msikilize Matanga. Ya niko na record ya watu hawa. Wambua used to write a lot of bad articles against the current president under Ruto. Fortunately now, he has found himself in the same way. An emotion that Jubilee has been... Did you realize that Senator Wambua is on record for voting with Murkomen and Cheriot all the time in the Senate? There is no motion. Even when Kalonzo says the rest of the people will vote yes, he votes no. Now he's the one who scattered all this, and they are meeting right now. But his position with another senator who is hiding, they are not fully coming in. Why do we waste time with Kalonzo? Wacha nikwambie. That Kalonzo, we have already taken 3 governors from here. You think those governors, surely there were no people they gave food? There are no people they have helped there. Why do you waste time to one man who is still waiting for whether George Soros will give more money and he will get a bigger share? Unisikilize ndugu zangu, mimi sizungumize mambo ya ushenzi, nazungumiza mambo ile inajenga nchi, inajenga bara yetu ya Afrika. Nataka kujenga Afrika. Afrika ni wache Afrika kama inaenda kwa Mungu, tuache Afrika kama iko na uzima, iko na upenzi, iko na amani. Nataka Afrika ikuwe na amani. Kwa hivyo watu sasa hivi wenye wanaleta shida, wenye wanaleta mivurugano katikati ya watu, watolewe. Nilikuwa naambia watu watoe Namwamba. Sasa unaona Namwamba has become a version of a Shumani Nakumatt. Have you heard of that statement?
The one that collapsed?
A Shumani version of Nakumatt. If you touch Matanga, niko na description mingi, I can describe a person until you cry. Namwamba is a Shumani version of a Nakumatt supermarket. It comes with the shelves, then it disappears with the shelves, then it comes back, then he said we are now on board, then it disappears. Shumani market. So, a letter written by Namwamba is a simple letter to quote to confuse these Kenyans. Didn't Namwamba write a letter that these men are cleared to come as arms dealers? Who was touching Namwamba? Didn't we lose Kemei? We lost Sergeant Kemei. May his soul rest in peace. The parents are now with dry white lips. Ruto is eating sausage in Washington, D.C. The tragedy of Africa, Mama Miriam, is laughing thieves. You love thieves, I want to cry. You love thieves, unawapenda. Mtoto wako anakuja na something at home, unacheka naye. Ameiba. Ameiba, unacheka naye. Hey my son, today you look so nice. Ili David Matanga, hakuna kwangu. Mom, sorry, hakuna, nakuambia rudisha. Kama iko shida, Croydon police station, hello, iko mwizi hapa. Kuja chukua. I swear in the name of God. Where you don't know me, maybe me. I find you stealing at ya Mungu. Nitapiga simu. I have that feeling that anybody who steals things is a bad person. Because he can kill you. Either you have known. You know why several murders happen? Murders happen when a thief comes in your house and they say, sit down. Or they lie you down. Then they say, then you say, but you man, you Michael, are you the one? Boss, you are dying. You are dying. Don't mention him. Because he knows now this is evidence. Like, kill him or kill her. But if you lie down and keep quiet, they will steal what they want and go. Mimi, nakwambia waki, we have a problem. That letter that you see that they will meet officials of this, that is a, you can meet in the House of Lords. Now those taxi driver, that man who has been on the internet, the one with a beard, who has been on the internet insulting Uhuru Kenyatta from morning, is that the man you send taxpayers to meet? Government I don't know. You look, that's the guy. That guy with a beard is the one who has been insulting Uhuru Kenyatta in Kikuyu from morning up to evening. I swear in the name of God. And that is the first man they have met. They have now met with Ruto. So you can see Ruto still expands his insulting behavior up to the US, so that those people say Kenyatta iko namna hivi, Kenyatta iko namna hivi. Are we countering that? Yes. On 11th of March, on 11th of March, the year of our Lord in London, Heathrow Marriott Hotel, arrive in big numbers to listen to handshake topic. Can it work in Africa? Hallelujah. I will address whether you are ODM, whether you are DUDA, whether you are, do I care? There's security there. I've already written to the police to come. If you bring nyoko tunakutupa nje. Tena unaweza end up in cells. Kuja kama unataka kusikia. So that we explain to the diaspora, because now, Miriam, the diaspora is going to vote. We don't want them to let Ruto first speak his mind, then we come to tell our mind. So, Mr. Ruto, you have a long journey to pigana na sisi. We haven't given up yet. That's the point, Miriam, I'm making. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Daniel, the delay from the headline we're reading on the Daily Nation as we conclude and take a break and give way to our next show. There seems to be some problems there in the coalition that is building up right now. And Wiper Chief Leader Kalonzo Musyoka, I don't know if he has anything to do with the delays that we saw yesterday. I don't know, what do you make of this? There seems to be a rift.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, Dr. Matsanga David has given you the correct perspective of whatever is happening. These are people who have been cut from the same cloth. You know, at some point, George Soros has been engaging all the opposition leaders in the country with the exception of Raila Odinga. And whatever Kalonzo Musyoka is facing right now is dilemma, because in as much as his body and soul wants to go to Kenya Kwanza coalition because of the money that is there, really he believes that Azimio la Umoja is going to form the next government. And therefore, that is why he is so torn apart. It's like a hyena which is facing two roads, and both roads, there's some kind of aroma coming from them, and therefore it is torn in between which one to follow. Because on one side, Azimio has the potential of making the next government, of which he wants to be part of. But on the other side, we have good money where people are being bought in billions to be able to side together and be able to try to see whether they can be able to thwart the efforts of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta in having him elected the 5th president of this republic. So, Miriam, Kalonzo's is a confusion caused with money and other personal interests. And like Dr. Matsanga said, these are people who are reading from the same script, and therefore Azimio la Umoja should not wait for Kalonzo. Rather, they should set up their campaign machinery and hit the road. Let Kalonzo Musyoka join them if he wants later, but for now, I think he's playing with he's playing mind games with Azimio la Umoja, and these delay tactics are actually sponsored by the likes of Karua. You've seen how Karua has been very, very blunt with the president. You've seen how Moses Kuria has been flip-flopping and attacking the president on one side, while on the other side he tries to court the UDA side. So Kalonzo should be decisive enough. If he does not make up his mind, like Dr. Matsanga said, these three governors from Kambani will actually be able to marshal up enough numbers to give Raila Odinga the 5th president of this country. Let me tell you, if these governors were able to vie on their parties and they were able to win their seats, believe me, even if they're going to give Raila Odinga only 70% of their supporters, then be rest assured that Raila Odinga will win without Kalonzo Musyoka. So let him not take the kindness and the meekness of the Azimio la Umoja stalwarts for a weakness. And therefore, he should not actually disturb people by shifting goalposts whenever they feel like they're actually closing in a deal with him. And then tomorrow he wakes up, makes a statement that actually brings in more confusion. Professor Kivuta Kibwana was very categorical. He told him to come to Azimio la Umoja, but let him not come to Azimio to try and bring confusion. Let him even not attempt to come to Azimio la Umoja and try to change the name. You know, Miriam, that is the height of contempt, that Kalonzo has. He should not feel that he is the only person who is standing between Raila Odinga and the presidency. President Uhuru Kenyatta, I know he's a very, very shrewd politician. He is a planner and he is a master chess player when it comes to the game of politics. And I'm very confident, Miriam, even without the support of Kalonzo, Raila Odinga still has 80% to 90% chances of winning the presidency. Look at it this way. You know, with Kalonzo going it alone, it's just the same way, like the same scenario like we had in 2013, where Kalonzo was on one side, Mudavadi going it alone, and William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta were on the other side. So, but this time the dynamics have shifted, where Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula have joined William Ruto, and of course, you know how it is right now in Western Kenya. Those guys do not master any kind of much support that could be able to change the dynamics in terms of voting patterns of Western Kenya. So even if Kalonzo goes it alone, I know in Ukambani, those three governors will be able to give up a very brave fight, to bring her on board a very brave fight. They can be able to take 60 to 70% of the vote. That will leave Kalonzo exposed with only 30% of Ukambani and maybe a morsel of votes here and there to bring him maybe to something below 500,000 votes. All good, it will mean that Raila Odinga will have a decisive win, regardless of the fact that Kalonzo was running as a third horse or maybe a third donkey, so be it. So Miriam, I don't think Azimio should take Kalonzo seriously. If he needs negotiations with Azimio, he knows where to go and he knows the people to engage. So let him not play mind games, whereas he is targeting and raising his bid with George Soros, Kenya Kwanza, and other people. No one is going to pay him to join Azimio. Let him know that, because this is a coalition of the willing, the people who believe in a progressive Kenya of unity, peace, and purpose. So to me, I think, Miriam, that is the reality of the matter. Dr. Matsanga has talked about it. I wouldn't want to go on and dilute whatever he's talked about. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Doc. I don't know if you want to add something on there, or we just take a break and quickly, and then we come back and we continue with our next show, which is, let me just get us that headline on what we shall be discussing. Will Ruto's shadow diplomacy change his image? And I think we've talked a bit of that. So maybe when we come back on the diplomatic leaks, we will have a full conversation regarding the same. Thank you so much.